What up, everybody? Welcome to the OKS Hunter podcast, coming at you from the OKS Hunter podcast studio, brought to you by Spartan Forge, our premier sponsor. Premier? Yeah, I guess they're presenting this whole
They're
thing.
numero uno.
They're
the big dog.
They're the big dog in town. They're the swinging dog in town. I'm
Mhm.
replacing the dog word with a different word.
Right. Swinging dog, swinging past your knees, play up.
That's right. Yeah, and otherwise, I think we did some posts together this morning. We were both drinking the same coffee, Backwoods Grind.
Yeah, we were grinding this morning.
That's right.
Mhm.
Do you like that stuff?
I do. It's not bad at all. It's got a little bit of a different
It's
taste.
got some grit to it.
Yeah,
That's how I would
Yeah.
describe it.
I like it. So last night, I make my coffee. I got my wife got me the nice programmable coffee maker.
That's
Oh,
what we
nice.
I had
have.
it the night before.
Yep.
And I
There you
got
go.
it, and I got that nice
Five-
coffee smell.
5 a.m. I can smell the coffee brewing.
I just, it's like the George Foreman with the bacon, Michael Scott. You get the bacon, so you wake up to the smell of bacon. But I just looked over at the backwoods that you slid over by. I was like, you know what? Tomorrow morning,
There you go.
we're going back.
We're going backwoods.
We're going
It is
back.
nice. You got the Camp House. I got the Sunrise. The Sunrise is a little bit lighter roast.
Gotcha.
So
I like that look.
25% on Spartan Forge. Use code OHP. Their journal feature is great. The heifer buck that I posted this morning from Shirk's Guide Service.
Mhm.
I thought I threw you into that whole mix.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Always remember to forget something so you can go back for a donut. And I
I'm the
tell you, the
chump
buck that they
doubling.
shared, that deer ain't never forgot a donut.
No. And I'm the chump that doubles down on the
And
donut.
if you use their journal app, you'll never forget where you saw that buck and which trail cam it was. It's pretty. I think you mentioned you were going to maybe start to test it out a little bit.
The journaling.
You
Which
seem
I
like a
should do,
journaling type.
because I got out last week.
You little
I'm
schoolgirl.
starting a new piece. Well, I mean, if I showed you my map right now on Spartan Forge and my pins,
It's littered.
you would think I'm an absolute flipping nut. But I should be writing more with these. I make
I-
little notes on them, but I should.
I do the same. I just start pinning stuff, and then if you don't journal it, you look at it and go, "What the hell was
What
there?"
the heck was that pin? Then I started
So-
looking at the date I dropped it. Why would I have
Yeah,
dropped
why-
it?
yeah. So then you're trying to remember, and then you're flipping through all your photos from way back when. You're going,
Trying to
"I
match
did
it
take
up.
pictures there." I
Only
think.
there was a way to record
Right.
what I thought and saw
Right.
that thing. Oh, there is.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I shared some Drop Time Spirits vodka with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I put some in my bloody over the weekend, and whatever, it's your bloody. It's all drawn up by tomato, but the shit's good.
It was very
It's not a cheap vodka by any stretch. It ain't like Fleshman's,
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Not
put
much
it.
like Fleshman.
I'm not sure if I
You
put the
can fill a
category.
lighter with that thing and light
Absolutely
your
not.
cigars, but with
Tito's
this
is
stuff
good, though,
better.
too, but
Tito's is excellent.
I think Drop Time's probably not far off from
No,
that
it's not
caliber
bad.
of vodka.
I
It's
like
not
the
bad.
drop on a lot.
It's a corn
And I don't
based.
like vodka very
so
much, but that was good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so I don't
It's
usually
not-
promote the bourbon, and that's because it's basically I just like the brown water stuff. I'm drinking Woodford Reserve tonight for the record, everybody, as a gift I got for dressing up as Santa over the weekend.
Santa deserves a little.
Damn right. It's freaking hard. I was a very awkward Santa. I'm good with my kids, like,
It's different with other
Other
people's kids.
and I'm like my glasses are fogging up. I'm like covered in this white weird, fake hair. I have a pillow up my shirt. Like, it was all just a little weird for me, but it was fine. The
Were you
kids were
sweaty
happy.
Betty?
Oh, it was hot in that suit too,
Did
for sure. I
Did
was
you
like-
have
I was like,
Did you have little
yeah.
kids crying?
no,
made
they
kids
didn't.
cry?
They didn't cry. They were afraid of me.
You weren't doing
Which
your
was
job
normal.
then.
They were like, "No, I want to go buy him." I was like, "I don't blame you, kid. I don't want to go buy me either."
Who else gonna kick you? You know?
Right?
So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I don't know what else is new, guys. You guys still hunting or what?
Reluctantly, I am done deer hunting. 2 more weeks before I go under the knife, so I gotta take it easy.
I was just complaining and whining how about I still need more deer. I told a couple buddies I got a new meat grinder, and I was like, we're gonna have a burger night one night where we just bring. I told
We
them to
did.
keep all
We
their.
did say that. I remember
I
seeing
said,
that in a
keep
group
your stuff
chat.
because we'll do a burger night. We'll come down and grind some meat and have a couple beers, talk stories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I need some more burger meat, so it's antlerless holiday hunt coming up with the rifle. So maybe we'll see if we can make that happen. And I still got my eyes on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where the hell Buck is.
You're doing. You have
So
a
I guess
lot.
my eyes are
But
not on the prize.
we're at that time of year where it is very difficult to find a buck.
And there's no snow, which makes it
No,
10 times
it's
harder.
even harder.
And there's no food.
There's food, but you got to look at it this way, that the food source has changed, but it's still in the same area because we don't have the snow covering it up. but they're still nipping dogwood. They're still finding other grasses and things that they'll want to eat. And they're hitting the crop fields that are cut and finding waste corn and waste beans and maybe some beans that are still on the edge, but that's not going to last very long. So they're going to hit it for the next week or two, and then it'll be done. Yeah. But they're hitting those crop fields late at night. They're still in that pattern of, unless we get a really good cold snap,
there's no reason for
them to move. So they're feeding off the dogwood. And I mean, even during gun season, I was finding dogwood that was all nipped off. So it's tough. It's a tough time of year.
I got a little bit of hope from our guest tonight because
he got one last night. So let's bring him in. We're going to bring our guest in. And for the record, for anybody watching this live, I know there's going to be a lot of people listening in podcast land, but if you're watching, I got a goofy camera problem happening because the audio, so just deal with looking at my face while you're looking at all of us. It's just, I don't know how to fix it right now. So hopefully we'll get that figured out. But Josh Osborne, welcome to the show. So you're live. Thanks for joining us tonight. And you are out of Georgia with Lizard Hill Outdoors. I hope I didn't F any of that up.
Lizard Hill Bones.
Lizard Hill Bones. Why did I say Hill? Well, you did say Lizard Hill Bones. I got it
outdoors.
Damn it.
He's saying bones because he does this European.
He does the bones, man, not the hills.
You know what? And I wrote it down and everything. I wrote on the paper. You didn't say it.
Sound good.
Car Ramrod. I wrote on the paper.
I even wrote it down.
I dabble with a bit of the Europeans just the last few years, just making my own here. But what you told us before we went live was how many you've done last year. I've never heard of anybody doing that many Euros in a year. So why don't you share what that was? That was incredible.
I think you can hear us, right?
Yeah. What was the question?
You asked too many questions.
Sorry. How many Euros did you end up making last year?
905 from bow season to bow season.
905. That's insane.
But a lot of the work that I do is contract work, which means a lot of these local taxidermists, they don't have time to do skull mounts, and they've got a lot of shoulder mounts to do. So I do contract work for them. So that's where a lot of my numbers come from, is from them and a lot of the processors in the area.
That just means you're really good at what you do. If they can trust you to handle off their overflow, then you're the real deal.
Listen, I take pride in what I do, and I really thoroughly enjoy it. And it's really just a part-time gig. I'm a full-time teacher, and I'm the head baseball coach here at our high school.
That's excellent.
You're a busy man. Let's get down to business here. So when we were talking, I forget if we met on Instagram or TikTok or, I don't know. We come across a lot of folks these days, but it's my understanding that you've been hunting private land for a number of years, and you've just, for some silly reason, is what we think, you've decided to go into public land hunting, which is a freaking grind, and that's okay. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to work our way into what happened last night.
Okay. Growing up, my dad, where our location, there was like no deer in like the 80s. So we had to get into hunting clubs like 2 or 3 hours south of here. And back then, if you saw a buck, it was like, man, I saw a buck. Hey, this guy killed a buck, and it was it was like awesome. But I grew up in an era where, it was just totally awesome. The whole hunting camp experience, hunting club type deal, and that's how I was raised. Well, fast forward to when I'm in high school, I could vividly remember my dad killing the very first buck on our land. And it was a 4-point. And my mom was like, "Why'd you kill that one?" He's like, "It's the first buck on our land. Are you kidding me?" I was like, it's the first buck on our land. So through college, still trying to find access to private land. And then around 2010, 2011, I picked up a book by John Eberhart called Bow Hunting Pressured Whitetails. And at that time, when I first got married, I really got into bow hunting.
It's a terrible time to get into bow hunting. Your wife's probably like, "What the fuck is this? Excuse me, what the fuck is this?" I should do that.
Well, my very first bow kill, my wife was sitting right beside me. I didn't have enough money to even have a deer stand. We were sitting on a log, and on my dad's property, the same property he killed that small 4-point on. And then from then it just grew. And after I read this book, like, it totally changed my mindset on how to gain access to good hunting, public and private areas, because back then we really didn't have a hunting club, because the log company bought the land, or they sold the land, or this kind of excuse. And to find good hunting land, I mean, you really had to know somebody. So after reading that book, the main thing that stuck out to me was writing a letter with references. And in Georgia, we have a landowner liability law, and I posted that at the bottom of the letter. And actually, I probably sent out about 50 letters. I might have got 47 no's, but those 3 yeses actually got me my biggest bow buck and continued to help me increase in size as far as the bucks that I was getting. Fast forward to COVID year, you're sitting at home. I started watching Hunting Public, and I told my brother, I was like, dude, this lake, there's pockets of land around core area that we can get in on, set some cameras up, and just see what we can see. Well, still using the Eberhart way of writing letters. Here in the city, you can't gun hunt, so you can only bow hunt, which is right up our alley, because even through gun season, you can use high-powered rifles here. Even now, I'm still picking up my bow and bow hunting, just because the interactions that you get with a deer bow hunting compared to rifle hunting, like you get to see them snort leaves, you get to hear them, like you get to see them do cool stuff. Plus, I like shooting bows. I like competing. And it's so much fun. I have a passion for bow hunting that started really, I guess, when I got married to my wife. I don't know why. I guess it was because of the Realtree VHS tapes that all I had when we were living in a single wide trailer to watch. We were so poor, I couldn't even afford cable. So I would watch those videos over and over.
You wore them out.
Do what?
You probably wore those VHS tapes out.
I still got them. I still got those videos, man. I love watching those videos. And look, hey, she would watch them with me. She's a trooper. She enjoys my hobbies. Matter of fact, she got her license this year. Took her hunter safety course. We hadn't got her buck tag field, but she had a back injury that she had to deal with. But I got a food plot in my backyard. Hopefully, in the next week, I can pile some corn up, because you can bait in Georgia. Possibly get on her first buck of the year. But awesome. The public land draw, like for me, my bucket list is like to kill like a Pope and Young public land deer. And, I don't know. I'm getting better at it, just because, when you map scout and you actually put boots on the ground, you're like, this really wasn't a good place. Or you actually put a camera up and you're like, wow, there's a shooter buck in there. But just the draw of being able to accomplish something like that on public land is just, for me personally, I think it's like just like a lofty goal that is on my bucket list I'd like to do before I die.
So are you just not then hunting private at all any longer, or are you still doing that too?
Yeah, but see, I tagged out in Georgia on 2 private land, which was butted up to public, and in Georgia, you get 2 buck tags. Well, South Carolina, for non-residents, because I'm literally 10 minutes from the border, non-residents can get 4 buck tags. So, and I've been so busy at the shop. It's starting to slow down now where I actually get in the woods, but I've not had time to get over there, except for now. I'm on Christmas break being a teacher. And like I told my brother last night, I said, man, if it's got horn, dude, it's getting thumped. So, if I could do it full time, man, I would exclusively hunt 24/7. If I could get paid, feed my kids, and be able to provide for my family, I could hunt year long.
Yeah, that's the dream, I suppose.
That is a dream.
Yeah, I think every male that likes to hunt tries to find a career. Okay, if I do this, I can get off at this time, and I can be in the woods by this time. And I can be able to hunt and kill more deer, kill more turkeys, and fish more, and this, that, and that. I think every guy that's an outdoorsman chooses a career that allows him to do that.
All right, Josh, I got a question for you. Sounds like you knew about the public property that were near the Lakes by your house. Had you ever been on it before? Or when you guys went to go check it out and set cameras, was that the first time you stepped foot on that?
Yeah, we set cameras out last week, but we map scouted, and then I've got several friends that live over there, and then just knowing the area as far as going through there by car. I just think map scouting like helps us hone in on some places that we know, and especially like if you can find like ag fields near that public land and on the lake, hunting from a boat is like a game changer because not everybody's going to put in the effort to get the boat in the water, park the truck, go ride a few miles to go get to where they're going to go, and then come back. Coming back in the dark last night was an experience for me and my brother. The lake here it's a recreational lake during the summer, but during the winter they generate heavily. So the water line's a lot lower than it normally is, and following those breadcrumbs on Onyx on your phone in a John boat's not fun.
Was there a guest the other week that was talking about they tried canoeing in the dark, and then someone like, oh no, that was Luke Osborne with Publicly Challenged was telling us that story where he like was taking a canoe, a flat bottom canoe down a river to get to where he thought the bucks were, and then he got one, and then it was dark and he was trying to go upstream, and he like said he was paddling for like an hour and didn't move at all. And then another boater came up and said, or maybe he didn't get a buck. I'm trying to remember now.
He didn't get one.
Yeah, he's like, if you would have got a buck, I wouldn't be helping you or something like that. Just joking, but this other boater helped him. He was like totally stuck. And it was winter.
Really?
It was nuts. I'm like, dude, that's some sketchy shit. As a father, like, yeah, that could have ended pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you're in a John boat, you got a motor on there. I suppose that's a little bit better than a canoe with a paddle.
Yes. When COVID hit, obviously everybody was at home. Well, I coached baseball, and I haven't been able to turkey out that much. And, dude, I'm telling you, it was turkey apocalypse that season. I tagged out. My brother tagged out. My oldest son got his first bird. My next son got his first bird. My brother's son got his first bird. And we actually went to Indiana for a week and took our boat with us that we recently purchased because of COVID money and hunted from a boat out of, Brookville Lake, out of Brookville, Indiana. Got our butts like stomped there. We could. I think we were towards the end of the season then. We heard some birds gobbling. Never could get on them, but found a bunch of morel mushrooms and actually ended the week on probably about 20 pounds of morels that we fried.
Oh, damn!
That's a
good haul. Yeah, no
We
doubt.
already had some turkey from
and
home.
For us, we've never had that experience. We probably ran into more mushroom hunters up there than we did turkey hunters while we were there.
That's gained in popularity just as much.
I might have to say morel mushrooms taste better than wild turkey.
I would agree.
You've never had.
I've had wild turkey. In fact, okay, small aside, because this is an open dialogue, right? Like, Josh, you're our guest, but you're gonna have to listen to us talk a bunch of shit with each other here and there. Some of the other day, I was like, I think my father-in-law. He's like, dude, wild turkey even tastes good. I said, I haven't had a good experience with it, but maybe I don't know what I'm doing, or maybe someone did it wrong. My old roommate, way back when.
Hey, I'm telling you, you need to cut them in chunks about that big. Roll them in mustard, roll them in flour, and fry them things in peanut oil. I'm telling you.
Down south, they fry everything in peanut oil.
Well, my son's allergic to peanut, so I'll have to watch the
morels and peanut oil.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. So,
let
me ask a question to all of you guys, because I'm the idiot here, and I'm like the grilling for dummies guy. That's why I have a pellet grill. Okay. For starters, I still have my charcoal grill, so I haven't forfeited that completely. But when I'm smoking meat, like 90% of the recipes, you're lathering that thing completely in mustard first. What's the deal with the mustard? What is that? I mean, it turns out great, but I'm curious why it's always just regular old mustard.
Flavor.
But that's like a base,
It puts a crust on it.
That's where the crust is coming from? Is that mustard?
It helps seal in the juices, man.
Do you remember when Huntivore told us about mayonnaise instead of butter?
Mm-hmm. That's moisture.
Yeah. Did you hear that episode?
No.
Dude, it was like I think I got like a small 15-second clip of him talking about the mayonnaise.
Really?
Yeah. I tried it.
You could message Nick right now and he would fill you in on it.
Anyway, we're rabbit holing here.
I don't even do that with my turkeys. I just haven't had great experiences either.
Okay, so you know more than me.
I make mine into turkey jerky every year.
Turkey jerky.
I literally make a huge bag.
See, and I cheat. Rather than using the peanut oil, which is delicious, I wrap mine in bacon and stuff it with jalapenos.
You're gonna get shit for the bacon wrap and stuff.
I don't care.
There's a meme Holly showed me the other day.
It's freaking delicious.
That's how my wife does.
See?
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
Jalapeno, the cream cheese, bacon wrap around your dove?
Yep.
And I used to eat my share of teal that way too.
Yeah, Holly showed me a meme of a guy
That's
trying to wrap a
good.
present,
Mhm.
and it was like totally trash, which is how I wrap presents. And there was like a guy wrapping his venison and bacon. Looked perfect. I'm like, oh, that's about right. She said, "Can't you make this or something?" Like, no, we're okay as hunters. We probably fucked that up too. You know.
Josh, when you're in Indiana, did you run into any shed antlers or just morels?
Just morels. We were kind of like, I'm a run and gun type turkey hunter, and like no lie, we probably walked about 50 to 75 miles that week.
Wow.
No.
Damn, that's a lot. J Rip said mustard is the binder to hold the seasoning. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense because then I did.
Binder.
And a lot
In
of
fact,
guys do Boston butts. They use mustard as a binder for seasoning too.
What's Boston butts?
Do what?
What's that? What did you say? Did you say Boston butts?
Yeah, it's like a shoulder of a hog. That's what we call it down here. I don't know what y'all call it up there.
I love learning new shit like this, man. This is like one of the reasons I love doing this podcast.
There's a butt that came from Boston.
Like,
There's
it's
a
like
hog
fundraisers
that parked his
in
car in the
Boston. We would
yard.
sell Boston butts for our baseball team. We would smoke them on like a big, huge pit, and people would come by and like.
Dude, I'll come.
You got to make a T-shirt that says
Sounds
Boston
delicious.
Butts.
With a pig on
There's
it.
a pig. Boston
With
Butts.
just the butt of the pig. on it.
Good, Google it. It's a thing.
Look at that pig butt.
Like,
Well, we have a cut called smoke butt around here, and it'll be used in
Is that
place,
just
in sometimes in place of corned beef.
I went to
My
the
family, my parents didn't like corned beef. I don't know why.
because they're not Irish.
They're Irish. That's the
The
secret.
fuck?
I don't know. But
Yeah, I'm
you need-
sorry.
You need to start. hitting
My
the purple
dad, he's
button.
gonna be so mad. He hates when I swear in the show.
You curse like a sailor.
It's a problem. That's why I wasn't a good Santa, but I didn't
You were a
swear.
bad Santa.
Bad
That's a real thing.
All right, Billy Bob. Anyway,
hey, and another
Conrad.
thing. Have y'all ever heard
Yeah.
of turkey and dressing, or do y'all do turkey and stuffing?
So we're big in stuffing
See,
up
it's
here.
called stuffing here.
Yeah, we have dressing down here. It's basically like creamy cornbread.
Okay, so my wife's grandmother made it's like corn with I don't know what in it. It's like bread chunks. Yeah, so there you go. There's
That's
your
probably
dressing.
dressing,
It's close. I don't know.
Where are we right now?
Stuffing.
This Scotch ale is hitting different, you guys. I'm just gonna say
You dirty bastard.
we're drinking the Scotch ale here, and I'm telling you what.
Drinking the founder's dirty bastard
Woof.
over here.
So, Josh, I know you talked about the deer you got, but like, break down that hunt a little bit because how freaking excited, man! You got your first freaking deer on public land. Like, that's a big
Yeah.
deal, man. That's a huge deal.
Well, about a week ago, I had time away from the shop, and I told my brother, I said, let's go set some cameras out. And we had about 4 spots. I think it was last Wednesday. And we took a climbing stick, put the climbing stick as high as we could, picked out 4 spots on the map that we wanted to put some cameras in, and we let them, we call them letting them soak. So we let them soak for about a week. And then the night prior to that hunt, he had a good shooter buck that, I would have shot whether I was in any state, show up. He
Good use of the term shooter buck, by the way. Good use of the word.
Yeah. And like I told him before we got off the boat, because, in South Carolina, non-residents get 4 buck tags. And I told him, I was like, look, I said, I haven't been able to hunt that much. I said, if it's got like an inch or I can see antler, I said, it's getting stuck. He said, all right, that's cool. So we got 50 yards apart from each other because we didn't know which way they were going to come in.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know if you guys think about this, but like whenever I'm thinking about where I'm going to set up, I always, especially late season when it's a lot of the foliage is gone, I try to find a tree that's got a Y in it so that I can like split my outline up. And when we were setting the camera, I looked up and I actually saw a Y tree, and I said, look, let's get right here because if they come by, because we were seeing rubs when we put boots on the ground when we put those cameras up. And I said, let's just see what we can see. Well, we got out of the boat. I got in that Y tree. My brother got about 50 yards away. And, dude, I'm talking like squirrel, like WrestleMania was going on.
WrestleMania.
Squirrel WrestleMania. That's the best way I've heard it described.
Oh, that's great.
It's gonna
Like
be a
it's like
sponsored
these
t-shirt.
deer, man, they're showing up left and right. As soon as we get in here, like these squirrels are just going to just have their way here. And I would say almost in the shooting light.
It's the episode title, by the way. Squirrel WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
So Josh, does that mean that you had some oaks and acorns on the ground? Because up here, usually, if you're around oaks, there's going to be squirrels.
If you're
Crazy.
going into the 10th round of the cage match of a
If
squirrel
the-
WrestleMania,
if there's
got oak
chairs
trees
leaning
for
up against
sure.
the oak trees, you know it's about
Yeah.
to go down.
See,
You
all
know,
Crawling
got
over those
chair
nuts.
match.
We got several species of oaks. We got white oak, we got red oak, we got water oak, we got
Water oak. I've never heard of that one. All right.
post oaks, and the water oaks and the red oaks, they don't germinate till the spring. Your white oaks will germinate as soon as they hit the ground and they hit
Yep.
moisture. So
And you're a
red
science
oaks-
teacher, so this is
Same
fact.
here.
This is
Yep.
a scientific fact coming from a science teacher.
Yep. So your red
Science,
oaks,
yo.
the red oaks will germinate in the spring, so they're still on the ground. And your water oaks, they germinate in the spring as well, and they're still on the ground, and they're everywhere here, especially around the lake. And I don't know. We try to find transition lines, especially southern pines. Y'all have pine trees?
Oh yeah, lots of
Oh, yeah.
pines. My favorite tree.
Yeah, see, like when pines meet oaks, we try to key in on those places.
Yep.
And like there's several other kind of like oak trees that we have here in the southeast that they can feed on year round. And again, it gets dark around 5:30. It might have been like 4:45. Squirrels going crazy, and I started hearing something that didn't really sound like a squirrel, and I kept looking through my binos, and I finally saw a movement that was lateral. I call it lateral movement. I don't know what anybody else calls it, but when I see lateral movement through the woods, I start, kind of freaking out, and my heart fluttering.
Yeah, what do you talk about that for 2 seconds? What do you define that as lateral movement? What do you mean?
The
Like
back line, the
like-
belly line.
Like if
What?
squirrels, if you could see squirrels in a petri dish, they literally act like an amoeba. They're just all over the place. There's no direct line. But when
Oh.
you see a deer far off or close,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It's
Yeah,
It's got a
Lateral
destination. Yep.
Yep.
straight
Lateral
line,
movement.
like
I do that
lateral
too.
movement.
I know what you're talking about now.
Left
Thank
to
you.
right, right
Yep.
to left,
Got
north
it.
to south, east to west.
My dad
Right.
always told me that too growing up when we were on cedar swamps. 'Cause it's all straight up and down.
You're right.
cedars. You look for that lateral line. You got
I'm a psycho
back,
about
horizontal
movement.
belly.
Mhm.
That's a deer.
I swear to God,
Movement,
man.
Of course.
Once,
Yep.
yeah, once you get like acclimated to the woods for like about whatever 3, 4, 5 minutes, nothing's fucking not moving in my line of vision, and I don't know about it. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, nothing's not moving in my side of vision without me knowing about it. Yeah.
Okay, so lateral. Yep.
So once I saw that, I put my binos up and I knew it was a deer. And then I kept looking to see if there was antler. And then I found antler. And I texted my brother. I said, "There's a deer to my left." And he kept working his way up. And the joker started making a rub. And I just went in the kill zone. Like when I go in the kill zone, like I don't look at, if I know I'm going to shoot it, I start focusing in on like where my kill spot is. And then he got within bow range, ranged him. He was about 19 yards, pulled back, let the hammer drop. He was quartering away, and he started digging taters. And he about 50 yards away is when he laid down. And I was pumped. Like that's my first public land buck. That's my first South Carolina buck, and that was the first buck that we'd killed. We'd christened our boat with.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
You're still on Cloud 9, man. And you're on a
Heck
silly
yeah, man.
podcast.
Heck
Like,
yeah,
come
man.
on.
It was just last night.
Where is he? Is
Be
he still
honest,
hanging
too.
up in your garage? Like, what do you do? Where is he, man?
He's still digging taters. I
gotta-
love it.
Another
Yeah,
t-shirt.
man.
Goes down, they start digging for taters, man.
You bet.
I love it.
Take them home and fry up the backstrap with them.
Heck yeah, I got it. I took it to the processor, and I'm gonna get jerky and maple meat sticks made out of it.
Maple meat stick sounds
Heck
good.
yeah.
We do.
Like
I got jalapeno
sausage links
cheddar.
taste, like when you're eating pancakes and sausage links, and you take out sausage links and you dip it in the syrup and eat it. That's exactly how these things taste.
Oh, it makes me hungry.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
When we go upstairs, guys, we're gonna have some jalapeno cheddar
Okay.
sausage. I
Sounds
got some
good.
upstairs. I also got venison hot dogs, which are delicious.
You're gonna need.
My son is
soak up all
obsessed
that
with venison hot
Founders.
dogs. Yeah,
You know
the
what
Founders
I'd
is
like to try?
delicious.
I wish a processor would make deer boudin.
Ooh.
Okay, new term coming at me. You
No.
gotta define it.
Go ahead.
Is that
Go
similar
ahead.
to a Boston butt?
Derek's on my, Derek's got my back tonight.
Sorry, man. I don't know what that is.
Enlighten us, please.
Well, boudin, like in Louisiana, it's kind of like a sausage with rice encased. I wish someone in our area would start making that. I've never had boudin, but like when you watch Phil Duck Dynasty, they eat it like we eat hot dogs around here.
Sure.
Interesting. Are those guys nearby? Where are those guys? Are they in like
Louisiana.
Louisiana? That's what I thought. Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're in like a bayou or something, right?
Mm.
Bunch of Southern boys. We're talking to Southern boy right now. You got a pretty thick draw there, Josh.
I'm sorry. A lot of times
I don't have to apologize for it.
No,
I think it's great.
No.
We love
a
talking
lot
to you
of
Southern
times
boys.
when I teach, people can't understand my redneckese when I talk.
Buddy Jared, he's a regular on the show. He's out in Arkansas, and he's always like, "Man, I'm more Southern than cornbread." I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Josh got you beat. But right now, I'm gonna send him this episode. He's gonna listen. That's pretty great. So tell us a little bit about the skull mounting, man. 900 skulls from bow season to bow season, or whatever the exact number was, and you're at like 600 something now, I think.
Yeah.
Your process is interesting. You had Greg's here for a minute, and ain't too often I see Greg learning something new. So not to say you're a know-it-all,
No,
but
I'm not a know-it-all.
I'm not saying
I don't
that.
know
I'm not
jack.
saying you're a know-it-all. I'm
Come
just saying
on.
if someone's teaching Greg something, they can know something, okay?
Please.
So
You better go to church on Sunday.
I'm going to church.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
we'll see. Whatever. The plan is to go to church for Christmas. Anyways,
Okay,
go ahead,
anyway.
Josh. What do you got?
All right,
Tell us
so
tell us how you're
I
doing these
started
skulls.
out with a homemade buck boiler, which was basically like a feed bucket and a heating element in the bottom of it, and literally was like obsessed. Searched YouTube, searched Facebook, searched everywhere I could search, and I finally ran into a guy. His name's David Barber. He owns DNA Skull Mounts in Rockingham, North Carolina. Messaged him on Facebook. I said, "Hey, guy, would you mind just let me spend a day with you just to see?" Because he was doing over 1,000 back then. This was, I think, 2016, 2017. I said, "How in the world are you doing this many skull mounts?" Because at that time, like I needed money. Like my wife transitioned from being an RN to a teacher, and she took
a huge pay cut doing that.
Yeah, but
My wife's a teacher. I know all about that life. Oof.
Like the hours were
Ours
perfect.
do good.
We have 4 boys, and they could eat their weight through groceries. So I went and spent a day with him, and he taught me how to get business, how to get contracts with processors, with taxidermists, because a lot of these taxidermists, they don't want to fool with skull mounts because they're so busy with shoulder mounts. Matter of fact, one of the contracts that I have, he's over 500 shoulder mounts so far on the season since bow season.
Wow.
You guys are killing deer down there.
Yeah, boy, they hate deer down here in Georgia, South Carolina. In Georgia, you get 2 buck tags. In South Carolina, if you're a resident, you get 5. If you're non-resident, you get 4. So you can only imagine.
Damn.
Like,
That's a problem to have, isn't it?
yeah, but you know what? I like killing deer, and I like seeing deer, and I like messing with deer, and getting into skull mounts helped me to be kind of part of that industry because, growing up, I played baseball, and my dad would always tell me, "Hey, man, when you get older, you're going to be able to kill a whole lot more deer and shoot a whole lot more turkey." And when I got older, I was like, I'd be dang if I didn't get to hunt and fish more when I was playing ball. So, like, I learned from him, and his process is called maceration, which is basically sticking it in a bucket of water.
Let's say that again. Let's say it again for the folks in the back. Maceration. Is that a term y'all ever heard?
Yes.
Maceration?
Mhm.
You heard this term?
Yeah.
Is there a definition for that
I
term?
thought you were going to go down another road with that.
No. But I'm curious. Maceration. I don't know if I'm spelling. I can't spell either.
MACER.
It's okay, so it's defined as the softening and breaking down of skin resulting from prolonged exposure to moisture. Okay, look, I just like to do this kind of stuff, okay? Craig?
This is good. What?
Right.
I got to play the OKS Hunter because our audience is the OKS Hunter audience. Sorry, everybody. I just dissed the
Maybe
whole
you're
population.
your own audience. You might be.
Someone's got to break it down Barney style for us lay folks, okay?
Barney
All right, go on.
style.
Maceration.
So basically, we call in the skull business, and like there's skull pages on Facebook, and there's guys that ask questions, give advice, that sort of thing. But basically, a tank is a freezer that's not working, and it's a dead freezer. But I use them for insulating purposes, and what I'm insulating is the heat, and the heat that I use is and it has to be halogen, is a 60-watt or higher light bulb. Now, it's a scientific fact that you've got 10 times more bacteria on your body or in your body than there are cells that make up your body. And a deer is different. And imagine how many bacteria cells a deer has, because a deer doesn't take a bath twice a day like we do. So they already come preloaded with bacteria ready to go. And all we're doing is providing an environment for those bacteria to eat every way that they can. And when they come out, they're literally like bug clean, probably cleaner than a bug clean. Now, the side effect of this is they're going to smell like a pile of chicken manure. My job is to take that smell out, to get them clean any excess fat that was left behind that the bacteria get, and then whiten that. A lot of people say bleach skull, but do not ever use bleach because they'll eat the bone. What we use in the skull industry is peroxide, and there's several ways you can get it. There's cream kind, there's liquid kind, and you can basically get it at a beauty supply store like Sally's. And then once we do that, we send it out on its way, and contracts seem to be a week long.
So that's how you're expediting that process a little bit through that term I learned.
I'm sorry?
The only skull mount I ever did is sitting behind this computer screen that people can't see back there. I'll change the camera view for y'all folks here. And good luck getting that Greg without breaking a bottle of booze. But I did that by burying it in the ground for about 9 months or so. I buried this guy in the ground, and it's all messed up now. It's been dropped a bunch and stuff like that, but because of kids. So yeah, I buried this in the ground, and I digged it up. Digged it up. Jesus Christ! I dug it up about 9 months later, and I did what you talk about, like blowed out the brains, washed it out and stuff. And our buddy Jeff Genke came over and helped me with it because he does taxidermy on the side. He's contracted by some taxidermists to do some shoulder mount stuff, but he knew his way around a deer skull. I'd never done it, but he'd said he had never seen a deer buried for that long. He said that everything just fell off like butter. He had never seen nothing like it, and it turned out pretty good. I got some flat when I spray painted it. I did a bad job, of course, because I am who I am. I stained the antlers with some wood stain real lightly to bring some life back to them. And I think, for my first attempt at doing that stuff, it was fine. But I ain't doing 900 of them like you are. The experience of it you have, man, is really impressive. Like, how freaking cool that you're doing this stuff.
Josh, I got to ask you, you mentioned ammonia before the show we got started. So after you do your maceration process, the bacteria eats off all the fleshy bits. And you said you're soaking them in ammonia. That's, I'm assuming, you said uses a degreaser, but that also helps with the smell?
Yeah. All right. So the contract work that I have, they want when I pick up on Monday, they want it back on Monday. My skulls, maybe 5-6 years down the road, they may have grease in them. But if you're doing your own, I would strongly recommend sticking it in a 5-gallon bucket with a half gallon of ammonia at 110 degrees and keep doing that each week until the water or that ammonia water solution stays clear. Then it's ready to whiten. But just to show you, this is a Fowler deer that I did for a guy that had some exotics. This is how clean I can get them. The nasal turbinates are intact. And how clean and white that skull gets.
That's beautiful.
And you didn't paint that or nothing, huh? That's just how it is.
This is a whitened. I hate to use the term bleach because it gives the
false sense of literal
right.
bleach. Yeah.
But this guy had some exotics in a pen that he uses that people literally ride in their pasture to go look and see. And these guys were in the same pen and started fighting each other. And this one ended up dying. And he called me and said, "Hey, you want this thing?" I said, "Heck yeah!" I'm hanging this in my house. So
why not?
Yeah, heck yeah. My wife's like, "Where are you going to put that thing?" I was like, "Right here, right there."
Oh man. So
that looks great.
I just posted, hey, if you want to call into the show for all the live viewers, the number is posted on the screen. So if you got questions for Josh, go ahead and call in. We'll bring you onto the show. I forgot to do that last week with all the technical stuff we're navigating here with the new setup. But Nicholas just asked a question. I'll put it on the screen. Nicholas said, if I'm going to take my deer in for European mount, should I peel the skin off if it's going to be in my freezer for a while before I take it in?
No, I would leave it in. You know, a good skull guy's going to be able to get them in to do it right. As far as time, I wouldn't leave it in there too long because you'll get issues with freezer burn. And a lot of times skulls that are freezer burn almost end up like a deadhead where it's kind of stained, and it's hard to get that out. If I were going to skin it, I would skin it, wet paper towels, wrap it around, and then stick it in the freezer.
That's good to know, man, because some people got to sit in these things for some time. I think the same Nicholas said, I had to sit on mine for a while this fall till he had room, but didn't peel the hide off the skull. Don't know if that's bad or not. So that's kind of what you're
No, I
talking
just don't leave it in there for like years. Like I got some people, you know, that leave them in there for a long, long time, and the skin will actually freezer burn where you have to like soak it to actually get the skin off.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like that's not something you want to do. Again, we're happy to open up the phone lines here. We do have a caller. Hang in there with me for just a sec. They're getting screened right now, so as soon as they're done getting screened, we'll bring them onto the show. But
Josh, I'm a high school art teacher. So I tend to be really good friends with science teachers because they're typically male science teachers, the only ones in my buildings who hunt. So those are typically my buddies, the science teachers. And I had a science teacher buddy who's actually a chemistry teacher who had the beetles in his classroom. And was always asking for skulls so the students could watch the process and see it. So I harvested my first bear, this is years ago, and brought in the bear skull. And then obviously after the beetles did their work, there's still all kinds of grease, especially in those bear skulls. So what we did is similar process to what you mentioned. I didn't use heat, and I used Dawn dish soap instead of ammonia, and I just kept changing it out. You find that ammonia works a lot better?
Yeah, ammonia, like for my purposes, ammonia will get rid of the maceration smell that smells like rotten chicken manure. It also is a good degreaser. But bear skulls, to me, they're just like a big old coon. They just pull them and hogs. I get a lot of hogs here in the South, and I absolutely, when I see them come in the shop, I hate them because I know I'm going to be fighting grease just because they got so much fat in and around their head.
I'm going to bring our first caller on. Looks like it's Dave, I believe, out of potentially Woodbury, New York. Dave, you're live on the show. What's going on? You got it, man.
Got it, buddy.
Nothing like all that pressure.
No pressure here.
Oh, I like that.
That's a good idea. I would love to do that.
Sure.
I need it the most.
Yeah. What's going on, buddy? Mopping floors. Nice.
Swab that deck, buddy.
Is there deer playing in the football field right now? Okay. Time to start whacking and stacking.
Oh man.
Were you able to claim it? You're clearly fine because you're messaging me or calling me right now. Yeah, it might be.
Josh, can you hear our caller?
It's like just mumbling in the background.
Yeah, we're having so we can hear you just fine, Dave, but it sounds like our listeners cannot. But don't worry, they'll be able to hear in podcast land. So as long as we can hear you, I think it's okay.
Eric's having testicle difficulties again.
Yeah, I tell you, when you do as much as we do on the tech front, believe me, it's a challenge. But shoot, yeah, everyone's telling me they can't hear you. That's unfortunate. We'll have to figure that out. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Yeah. You
You
too, bud.
too. Have a good
We'll
one,
talk
man.
soon.
Happy holidays. So Josh, what he was talking about is he wants to do a recipe.
You know what we
version
should
of
do?
the show, and I think we gotta have a southerner. If we're
We
doing
have
it,
to. We have to.
We gotta
If
bring
we're
Josh
gonna,
back or something.
I think we're gonna have to have like a write-in or a call-in recipe. So we're gonna have to take like our last 30 guests or something like that and have them call in with a
Oh,
recipe.
geez, that would be a.
That'd be a humdinger.
Doug Cliverbean just asked, "What in the world are you wearing, Derek?" Which I just totally.
This is
I'm so
silent
used
and
to it already.
profiling.
Is that
Come
too
on,
formal?
Doug.
Oh, that's great, Doug. You're the
That's too
man.
formal for you?
No. I mean, you look like
Trying to look nice. Good.
007 invaded Christmas. Come
Today
on.
was ugly sweater or holiday festive wear.
Is
at
it your last day of school
today?
today?
No, tomorrow.
Ah,
But they
it's
held
tomorrow.
it today, so
Okay.
I got this a few years ago. It's that nice athletic wear, so it's
Yeah.
comfy and
Yeah.
that's
You don't have to sweat so bad. in
checks the
sweat.
box.
And you got the Stormy Chromer on. Is that what that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert.
It's not a knockoff. It looks legit.
Mhm.
Greg's got a Stormy Chromer. What color is yours? Is yours like the?
Mine's a
buffalo plaid?
drab color. Mine's not
Drab?
quite. Yeah, it's olive drab.
They
That's
weren't
my
so darn
favorite color.
expensive.
Like this
We-
hat.
Yeah, that's the load in black. They're out of stock, man. Those Richardson
Josh's got
112s
great,
are out
Yeah.
everywhere. We just got our hands on some by some miracle of I don't even know what to call it, but they are not available anywhere else. So we're gonna have some trade show only stuff. So if you're A200 or 200A, whatever the hell our booth number is for the open season trade show of March 25th, 6th, 27th,
Yep.
we're going to have some merch that you cannot buy on our website. So for anyone in Wisconsin Dells around then, you're going to luck out if you want to come by our booth.
I'm hoping to have maybe a couple original pieces of artwork too. For
Oh, that would be
raffle off
great. That'd be a great
some
idea.
people
We'll
can
do that
win
for
or
sure.
whatnot.
100%. We'll support local artists like Derek.
Do you need feathers or do you need anything?
I'm always accepting of the turkey feathers. I've
Okay.
got a few, but I can always use a few more.
Well,
Okay.
I may or may not get involved in the turkey hunt this year. Depends on if there's any, what are they called, leftover tags? Greg's like, the other day, sorry, Josh, by the way. Greg's
No,
like,
you're good.
hey, did you get a turkey tag? I'm like, well, no. When can I do it? He's like, well, it would have been December 10th. I'm like, well, where the fuck were you texting me on December 10th?
Dude, so now we're going to start an argument. Asshole. I told you 2 months ago.
Who's swearing now?
That's fighting words there, buddy.
I don't know.
Yeah, huh? Don't worry, you'll get
I was
involved
like,
here
what?
too.
You texted me 10 days later. Well, I didn't know. I didn't
No,
know.
no. If you would just get your head out of your rectum and pay attention to
I'm just
things.
engineering, stuff no one has ever done
I'm
ever.
engineering my world over here.
Well, you can engineer a turkey tag.
Right.
Yeah, well, I can't. So
If
I'll,
you could squeeze one of them out
See
of
if I-
your rectum,
if I get some sloppy seconds, I'll go and kill a turkey. We'll see how it goes.
you better be Johnny on the ball.
Well, come March, I
You
will
better
be.
have your buttons
But if it's
ready.
our trade show
Y'all
weekend,
need to, y'all need to come down here, man. I'm telling you.
Josh is like, I'm the moderator.
Is there a lot of turkey
Y'all need to
tags?
come down here and turkey hunt. I grew up like in the 80s. You'd walk in the gas station with camo on, and people would be like, "What are y'all doing with camo on?" I'm like, turkey season, duh. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
it was a normal thing in our house.
Rectum damn near killed him.
I just saw that. I'll
Damn
put it
near
on the
killed.
screen.
Nice.
Wrecked him, damn near
It'd be a
killed
lot
him.
funnier if you didn't comment about my shirt there.
You know what? Doug is a technical genius, and he helped me with this stuff.
He could,
He
fix
probably
this
needs to help me
for us.
some
Where
more.
the
I
heck
need
were
to,
you,
I need
Doug?
to bring him here. Doug's in
Eric was
Minnesota.
on the struggle bus,
I've been on the
messing
struggle bus.
things up over here.
Doug is aware of my situation, but
We had a Doctor Who echo going on.
I went down a wrong path. Doug's like, you should have went this direction. I went
wants
that
nothing to
direction.
do with this
Yeah,
situation.
Doug don't want to touch my situation with 10-foot pole. I'll tell you that right now. And he could probably fix it, but he's like, you need to buy another $1,000 of gear is what needs to happen. So, yeah, Doug, I have an infinite echo happening that I can't seem to fix, and it seems to be through OBS. I'm not
It's
going to
just
talk about this right
following
now.
camera to camera to
I
camera.
see something in Josh's screen there that I'm interested in.
Oh, what do you got there?
Josh, what do you got there?
So this is a mini muley. Or a
Mini muley.
European mount.
Okay.
Starting in January, these guys, you need to follow them on Instagram. It's mini muleys. You can take pictures from your iPhone of, say, like a shoulder mount, like something like, let me move, like something like that in the background. I can take pictures on my iPhone,
Okay.
send it to them, and they can make a mini replica of your mount, and you could literally hang it anywhere. Like, it's the
That's
coolest thing
awesome.
ever. And I'm like, when it comes to skulls and deer skulls, like I'm like a geek when it comes to this kind of stuff. When
That's
I saw
cool.
this pop up on my Instagram, like I started following them, and I was like, hey. But if you'll stay tuned to my Instagram, this mini muley will be aged bronze here shortly. You can check out my page, and I do metal coatings on skulls like copper with patina, aged bronze. I can make one look like rust. I can hydro dip them. Like I literally want to be like the best guy that you do a skull mount in the industry, and had a lot of people teach me a lot of things, especially David Barbary. You know, there's some other guys that are some great skull guys in the industry from all over. There's groups on Facebook you can join and learn. But to me, like this thing right here, like I can just put it in my pocket. Like, hey man, you want to see something cool? Look at here. Look at this thing right here, man.
That looks great.
That can hang from your mirror in your car. That can go on your keychain.
Put it in your
You can
beard.
send that as your
Put it in
Christmas.
your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can hang from my beard.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's your
Hey,
ornament for your
beard.
tree.
Is that a
Dude,
skull
there's a
mount?
no- that's a.
Dude,
You know what?
Beer beards. There you go.
That is straight
It's
up
the buck
Viking
beards.
right there. Look at that thing. That thing's gnarly.
That's a great gift idea for like a Christmas
You
ornament.
heard
for
you heard of
someone.
a Christmas tree? You got a deer hunting
Or
beard.
a
Right
man-
I'm
there.
at my dad's house. I'm gonna snap a
That's
photo of
weird.
his 15 pointer, and I'm gonna send it to these guys, and he's gonna get a gift next year. He's not gonna know about.
No, what's awesome about
already
that
gave
is
it away.
I'm a
Don't
dork with
forget.
the antlers. Josh, you're all about the skulls. I'm a dork with antlers. I do a lot of antler repair.
Well, they do
and
sheds
whatnot
too.
for
Like you
people.
can take a picture of a shed. And you send it to them, and they like send you like a mini shed of whatever.
Wow.
Like
Those guys do a great job with their antler coloring too. Like it's very, very good.
You
Yeah.
would know. You would know.
That's kind of my geek area.
Doug said, "Is that a deer in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?"
A little horny, huh?
A little horny.
Is that a deer in your beard? Or are you just happy to
Oh
see me?
man, this
That's
is lot of
that's
fun,
a
guys.
social media conversation I always love to see is when someone calls it
Is-
something a horn and then some smart ass has to be like, it's actually an antler.
Oh yeah, so we poke fun at that a lot.
Whatever,
We have
dork.
I think we have a whole collection called "You Can't Eat the
Nerd.
Horns."
I remember fifth grade.
Everyone's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you can't call them horns." I'm like, we do that to piss you off on purpose.
Yeah. Got
It's a
you good,
joke.
you sucker.
You aren't getting it.
You big Boston bet.
You big Boston butt. Oh,
y'all
Josh,
don't-
why did you?
That
Why did
blows
you?
my mind. That's like common knowledge here.
No, it's nothing. Do you know what a fish fry is?
Yeah.
Damn it. Well, do you know
Come
what
on.
do you know what an old fashioned is?
That's it.
There you go.
Hey, at my wedding rehearsal, we had a fish fry. That's what we fed everybody with.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
you know. Do you know what?
Sounds
Do you know what
good.
an
Did
old?
you catch a fish?
You're looking at your wife.
We lost sound.
Oh, where'd you go? You there?
Oh, no.
Who, me?
Yeah, there you are.
Hey.
Do you know what? Do you know what an old fashioned is?
An old fashioned?
That's right.
No.
There it is.
There,
We got something now that we can't comprehend that you're not aware of. It's an old fashioned. Here in Wisconsin, we got brandy and bourbon old fashions. It's a winter thing, and it goes with a fish fry. Friday nights. It's fish fries and old fashions, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote about old fashions in my Instagram post I made today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it brandy or bourbon?
I always drink bourbon or whiskey old fashioned.
Yes.
I
much
like the
better.
bourbon much better.
I
We
can't
just
do
had this.
brandy. I don't like
Yeah,
the sweet.
it's
I
pretty
don't
sweet.
like much sweet in my
No,
old fashions. I like them bitter.
I don't like sweet stuff.
Mhm.
People call it bags.
Was did your wife want to come and join us on the podcast? She's welcome. I would love to talk to your wife. Well, we would all would. In fact, my wife's probably going to take over one of these damn
What
days.
does your wife teach, Josh?
What does my wife teach?
Yeah. What does she teach?
She's a healthcare science teacher at our high school.
Awesome.
Okay. Very cool.
We appreciate the work you guys do.
Derek is a teacher. Derek,
Your
what do
wife
you
is a
teach?
teacher?
My wife is a teacher. Yeah, we love teachers here.
Yeah.
In fact, this
My
teacher
mom's
just
a
brought me
teacher,
beer.
My brother's a teacher. My wife's a teacher, and I'm a teacher.
Educators
man.
throughout life. That's awesome.
That's cool. Dude, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been real fun talking with
It's
you.
been great, man.
Like, let people know where they can find you, how they can get in touch. I don't know how much capacity you can handle from like a skull mounting perspective, but I know we do have a number of listeners on the East Coast and in the southern states. So I suspect a couple of folks will hear this and be like, oh, I should probably call him.
Yeah. Just check out my pages. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's Lizard Hill Bones, and the name is like a family name. My grandfather was a cotton farmer and a soybean farmer, and he would pile rocks up on the highest point of the property, and lizards would literally come and sunbathe on that hill, and he called the farm Lizard Hill. And my logo is actually a skull sitting on top of a hill with lizards on the side of it. So
Very cool. That's awesome.
that's where that name come from. Because people ask me, like, where the heck did you get that name? I was like, well, it's part of my family and my family farm. But I'm on all those social media sites. And then if you ever hashtag or search for the hashtag Wampus Tour, that's
Yeah, what's that
basically-
about? I've seen that from you. What does that mean?
All right, so
You gotta explain yourself.
My son
Wampus.
killed his first buck, and my brother-in-law was with us, and he started like filming after we found it. And I just gave him a big old bear hug and slapped him on the back. I said, "Man, you put the Wampus on here. You put the Wampus on him." And then from then on, I was like, "That's it. That's got to be a shirt." So it's the Wampus
the
Tour.
Wampus.
No matter what you're doing, if you're fishing, hunting, it doesn't matter. If it's anything to do with outdoors, you're on the Wampus Tour.
That's
I
awesome.
like it.
I like it,
That's
dude.
pretty cool.
So I say kitty wampus a lot around my kids. My daughter's like, "Dad, why do you always say it's kitty wampus?" I'm like, I don't know, because it's all kitty wampus, but that's not what you're talking about.
Totally different meaning.
But I like the word. I like the word wampus. It's a good word.
Yeah, man, it's like a southern redneckanese. Like you put the hurting on whatever you was trying to put the hurting on. I go put the Wampus on it.
That's better. That's even better.
Oh, that's good
You
shit,
got some
man.
great stuff on your page. I'm just started following.
Yeah, these
you.
guys are like, "Who we talking to tonight? Who we talking to tonight?" I was like, well, "Go look him up." I sent the Instagram, and this is what I mean. Like, we talk to known and unknown people, man. Like, some people are better known than others. Some people are completely unknown,
You're unknown to us, and it's awesome.
and we love it, man.
Yep.
It's good to meet new people, and you're repping the hat. I didn't even realize I shipped one to you. It would have been me that did it, so I'm sorry I didn't even realize it.
No, that's cool. I know how it is, man. You
It
get
looks
busy,
good on you,
get
man.
your
You
stuff.
wear it well. You wear it well.
Hey, we appreciate the education. We got a little bit of barbecue and education.
Some redneckanese.
Some redneckanese.
Heck
And
yeah.
definitely the maceration process. I really enjoyed hearing that. That's great.
Yeah, what people don't realize with podcasting is the return on relationship, man. You get a lot of return on relationship. We meet a lot of cool people. We learn a lot of cool stuff, and we've been at this for shit. I've been doing this since 2013, so I think.
Just to let Doug know, I've never eaten possum. I'm not that redneck.
You tell that
I
nigga.
can be if need
Doug.
be.
Doug, you're just
Doug, you're itching for a fight tonight.
this shit. Doug's good. Doug's a good dude. In fact, Doug and you might have to have a beard off because Doug's beard is about as impressive as yours is.
I got you.
He's got a podcast too. His podcast is SmackDown Outdoors, and his podcast he does a lot with fishing. He does some with hunting too, but he's got a lot of fishing stuff.
Yeah,
He
we're
does
big.
great fishing.
I was talking to somebody today about crappie fishing. I'm not real of a big fisherman, except when it comes to trout fishing. Like I
That's
love
fun.
to trout fish in the summer.
Hell yeah.
I actually do a lot of trout and salmon on the big lake here on Lake Michigan. So it's a different kind of fishing. Like Derek's been with me
It's a good time.
where we're trolling around on a big aluminum boat, pulling big lures and big king salmon, cohos, rainbows, browns, Lakers. They all hit it, and it's a lot of fun.
There's some spots like the creek is no wider than maybe 10 yards, and you can catch a 10 to 12 pounder rainbow or brown or
Boom.
Oh, man.
palomino, man. We use I'm not one of those fly fishing guys. I'm just a meat fisherman because I
Yeah.
like to eat. And we got like 4-pound tests with open face reels.
Yep, spinning
We have a
reels.
good time up there.
You bet.
That sounds
That's
like fun.
excellent, man. Well,
Stay in touch, buddy. We'll
Yeah,
we'll stay
absolutely.
in touch with you, and
Hey,
hopefully
we
you
need
get
to do
some good.
another one. If we just do a podcast about skulls, we do a podcast about hunting. If we do a podcast about outdoor,
We'll do more.
Because for sure, I have some recipes to eat what I kill.
That sounds
hell
great.
yeah.
That's good, man. There's a Meat Eat article I read today about Renella's brother that posted something about that. Like people ain't, they ain't eating what they're killing. They don't know any recipes, blah, blah. And I've yet to listen to the whole thing, but it sounds like Steve and his brother are at a bit of odds with each other. It got pretty heated from what I read. And I eat what I kill.
Yeah.
I don't know why people might think I don't,
Do
but
y'all
I
know what
freaking
Dale
do.
sauce is?
Damn it. No, I don't know what that is either.
Sounds
You're
You
killing
need
me,
to
Josh.
Google
It
You
sounds
need to
local.
Google it and order
Dale
some.
sauce sounds
Thank
like
me
something my
later.
dad's buddy's gonna produce
Come on,
later
Dale.
on. Dale did our electricity in this room.
Hey,
I don't
you'll
want to know
send-
what Dale
you'll
sauce
send-
is.
Listen, message me on Instagram, send me an address, and I'll send y'all a box full of Dale sauce and give you some recipes
Okay.
for all like
All right.
telling you Dale sauce, man. You put it on anything, it's like it's thebomb.com.
I'll check out Dale
It's
sauce.
the Wampus.
Check out our buddy. Check out musket powder. Have you heard of musket powder?
No clue what that is. Is that like
Ward
a short?
Danger, aka what's his full name? Edward Heckler or something like that. He
Yeah.
goes by Ward Danger. He makes musket powder. That has been
It's a seasoning made with coffee, and if you like
Well, a
to
couple of
do
them.
brisket, pork shoulder, whatever
Is it
on the
dry
grill,
rub
this
stuff?
is dry rub.
Boston
It's
butt?
good.
Awesome.
So I did
I
mustard
think
all
we just call
over.
it pork butt up here.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
mustard on my
smoked
pork butt, pork shoulder, and then I did musket powder, all the whole thing, the regular one, the original, the black one, not the brown coffee one or the red hot one or the mustard one or
It's
whatever.
all got coffee.
They got ranch or whatever, but it was good. It turned out pretty great, man. In fact, when I got my pit boss,
What about donkey butter? You tried that?
I feel like you're messing with me, or I don't know how to answer that question.
No, I'm not messing with you. Donkey butter. Look it up.
Donkey butter or donkey butt?
Donkey
I'm afraid to.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah, don't Google that on your school internet.
Do this at home.
Firewall ain't gonna work there.
Hey, Chris was gonna come in and be like, what is donkey butter? Like,
Don't do that.
Don't
That,
do that.
that'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Don't do it at work. Whatever you do.
Oh gosh, I won't.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to end the
Ruined
live
it already.
feed. Josh, thanks for joining us. Hang out for just a second. We'll debrief with you. And everybody else that tuned in, hang tight. This will be live in podcast night tonight.
See ya.
All right.